Thank you. Hi. All right. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. You missed one.
Good.
Gosh,
Yeah, you didn't do anything.
Talk to me.
You ready, set? Good luck.
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right, here we go. Good game. Okay. Okay. All right, good game. You should be better, for sure. All right, good stuff. That was good. That was great. The history of checkmates. Thank you. Strong, dude. You played great chess. That was a phenomenal game. You found a number of just only moves. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
What's funny is when you played a game. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it. Wow, you were the one closest to beating me. Was there a win for you?
The book's been out for a couple of months, so you've gotten a lot of feedback, I'm sure, from the chess community. You've been on a lot of religious podcasts. You've gotten feedback from them, all of it really positive. What about from the collective? And for those that have not read the book, the collective, capital C, was the name of the cult.
Yeah.
What you referred to. Has anybody from the collective reached out to you and told you what they think of your book?
Yeah. So the collective was actually the name we used for it as like living in it, like the family, the collective. The church itself went by the Church of Immortal Consciousness, which was a registered church that eventually rebranded to Church of the Spirit. I've had a lot of conversations with people from the former collective, and it's been, I would also say, the majority just all positive. People sort of grateful that now there exists something out there that like makes it easier for them to talk about. I mean, they've joked that they're like, I'm not going to explain my life to you until you read Danny's book. Like, read the book and then we'll talk about my version of the story. But there's been that sort of having some gratitude about the opportunity I had, right? But there's also been a bunch of people that have been like, hey, like this is super triggering for me, or hey, you kind of touched on this story, but you really didn't do it justice, which is all fair, right? Because it wasn't totally my goal to write, a cult expose. There are a lot of very rated R tragic things that went down that aren't even in the book, and that's the truth. And astute observers or people who read it closely might kind of have more questions and kind of be like, I bet there's more to that, and so, but it wasn't my job to tell everyone's story. And so I think for some to feel that there's still a lot more to go, that is an ongoing conversation, right? I've said that this was not as I looked at the chess world and I looked at chess.com and I thought about what is next, I knew if I wanted to start having bigger conversations about mental health or leadership or how we built this mission first culture, or talk about my views on spirituality or anything else within that bucket, I didn't feel like I had earned the right to do that until I really brought my full story to the world.
Inside the collective, you were basically told that your fulfillment in life was to be the world champion. But we could almost argue that it was not untrue, because the position that you've grown to, I would say you're as important in the world as a Ding or a Gukesh in a way. So you didn't become world champion, but I know you won't say it about yourself, but you do lead by far the biggest chess company ever. So I'm not suggesting that we're giving lip service to this idea that you were preordained, but do you kind of feel like you were fulfilled in that way?
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, for anyone who hasn't read the book, I was told at the age of 12 that my spiritual purpose for being on the planet was to become the world chess champion, to be the best chess player in the world, which is kind of crazy. And there was a lot of things that happened from there that are wild and nuts. But the way I think about it is like, I'm not a world champion. I am a champion of chess, and I will continue to champion the game, whatever that looks like.
How has the writing of the book and the changes you've undergone personally affected your leadership style at chess.com?
Yeah. It's given me more perspective. Writing the book has given me perspective. I would say that I don't believe in closure, because like mental health, like physical fitness, like anything, we all want to believe there's a box we check and go, oh, I never have to exercise for the rest of my life. Like, no. Like, oh, there's a box you check. Like, oh, I'm mentally healthy now. I don't have to, no, it's not over. It is a process. You have to work on yourself all the time. That's the truth. I wasn't looking for closure about my life. I was looking for perspective. And reviewing it has given me more perspective, not just about what I went through, but about why I went through it, because in the end, everything happens for a reason, but you get to choose the reason. That's the twist. And so when you look at your life in a deep way and you reflect and come to terms with and gain new perspective, you start to be more empowered by what happened to you, which is a weird twist when you say, I would never wish what I went through upon my own kids, and I'm grateful for every bit of it.
I'm wondering, what are the greatest misconceptions about you and chess.com, both as individual entities and combined, that you would like to dispel?
There are situations where people don't want to acknowledge or don't appreciate that usually their perspective about someone who they really know nothing about says a lot more about them and their own experience of life and how they came to that perspective than it does about the person or than it does about the company, right? So the thing I always tell people is you should talk to, the 600 team members who work at our team, right? As far as what we've done to not just provide the livelihoods of many, but also I think contribute, some good into the world with chess and all those things. I think you should, talk to parents and how they feel about their kids and what chess does for the game, what the game of chess does for them, and all those things. So in the end, I dispelled those rumors just by continuing to do what we're doing, because I think that chess.com is an amazing company. I think chess is amazing for the world, as I've already said. Our infinite mission started long before Simon Sinek started saying, everyone's mission should be infinite.
Not many of the top 10 players are openly religious, with a few notable examples. Why do you think that is? Top 10 chess
players. Well, I think for many people, chess is a religion itself, right? They're sort of like throwing themselves at the feet of the divine because it's unsolvable, and also full of just rewarding stories and mysteries. And I think that chess inherently has a lot of atheists in its. I know that because I just have I don't like speaking in broad stereotypes, but I have experienced that myself. And I think part of that is because there's a religion to the game itself. I think getting lost, and it really is a thing in the board and in its own kind of philosophy. So maybe they don't need something more than what they feel is making them better. And chess players love getting better at chess, and so they're sort of obsessed with that. International master Igor Ivanov was in Arizona before he was in Utah. But he has his own absolutely crazy story. He defected from the Soviet Union, literally in like spy movie fashion. At least, again, I told the story as he told me in the book. I have no way to like fully verify this. Although he told it enough, it kind of became like verified because it was just verified by everybody. But he literally escaped from the KGB, running across asylum protection lines. Like he got across lines in the 80s and defected to Canada, Newfoundland originally in Canada. And then
we should say the plane had an emergency landing on the way back to Russia.
Absolutely crazy.
And he opportunistically got off in Newfoundland and defected.
But he made his way to Arizona over many, many years, then made his way to meeting the leader of the collective, the cult leader, who then brought him to live with our community for a couple of years, and he worked with me and a lot of the other kids in the group. But this was right around the time that I was taken away from my mom and sort of orphaned within the community. And so he was like the most consistent adult figure in my life for a couple of years there, which was not the best influence in many, many ways. You should be held accountable for your actions, and he would have not been controllable on camera, that is for sure.
Chess.com just turned 20.
Yeah.
What's your dream scenario for where the game is and where the website is in 20 more years?
100 million daily active users. 100 million people playing chess. Actually, why am I selling myself so short? 1 billion. 1 billion people play chess every day. We currently have about 10 million people who play chess every day on chess.com. Why not 1 billion in 20 years? I think we can do 100 million daily active users in the next decade. So I'm gonna say that things can compound, and why not believe that 1 billion human beings are playing chess? And if I start with that, back to what I've said many times, our infinite mission was infinite before it was cool to say it, because I think chess players are good for the world. Ultimately, being skeptical, being critical thinkers, being self-reflective and accountable. Losing a chess game is an intimate experience. These are all really good skills for people. So I want 1 billion people playing chess in 20 years. That is my highest level answer, because nothing else matters. Like, it's not about
Really, I mean, like it's, there'll obviously be a certain amount of people who are premium subscribers and getting better and all those things in the ways that will fuel the business. But a car's purpose, as we say, is not to burn fuel, it's to go places. So even though we need money for the car to run, I think that the car could be driving with 1 billion people in it in 20 years. So that's my goal, as crazy as that sounds. How nutty is that? Ship it. 1 billion people. What? There you go. It's on record. 20 years, we got 1 billion people playing chess.
All right, so make sure to like and subscribe. And be your best
Like and
self.
subscribe. All right, thank you, man.
International Master Danny Rensch, everybody.
Appreciate it.